On everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Her Business Podcast. In today's episode, I'm joined by Cage Titans own Mr. Chris DiCarlo himself.
What's up, man?
How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
You know, another day, another day. First
Yes,
and
sir.
foremost, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023, bro.
Appreciate you, man. I appreciate
You're off to a hot start. As I almost mentioned before we
you.
jumped on here, but I wanted to save it for this.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Tell people who don't know what wheeled in is.
Oh, the Wheel of Fate. Is that what you're talking about?
Wheel of Fate. Sorry.
The
Yeah,
Wheel
yeah,
of
yeah.
Fate. Now you're good. You're good. You're good. Yeah, man. So on my Instagram, I try to do it for every card, but sometimes I get busy and I forget. But every card I try to do a Wheel of Fate parlay. Basically what I do for the UFC events, I'll take the main card, whether it be 5 fights or 6 fights. I'll take the matchup, put whoever's fighting each other on a wheel, so it's 50-50. Let the wheel spin. Whoever it lands on, I load them up into a parlay, throw a few bucks on there, and then if it hits, I give away some money to the people in my chat. If not, we go back to the drawing board and we try again in the next card. And this one we ended up hitting it. We hit one last year. This is in the first card of 2023. We hit one again, plus 1,800 odds, which is pretty wild. All 5 fights in the main card, correct. And then, my guy Connor Burks over there, the producer for the MMA Hour GC. He hooked me up and shouted me out on the MMA Hour on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, no, what was it? Monday? Monday's show. Yeah,
Yeah,
yesterday's show.
Mondays. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yesterday's show. He shouted me out, so that's cool, man. It's the second time I've been on the show for the Wheel of Fate, and it blows Ariel's mind every time he sees it. So I love it.
Dude, it's super unique. Did you think of this yourself or how
Nah,
did this idea come about?
I gotta shout out my boy Steve. You probably met him. He's been to the Cage Titan shows with me before. I was supposed to do it all came about because I was supposed to do like a pre-UFC pay-per-view interview with somebody through like Instagram Live, and I was gonna use that as like my fight day like content to post, and it ended up falling through. And I was like, man, I don't know what to post today. I need some content before the pay-per-view. My buddy was like, dude, why don't you just do like the Wheel of Fate parlay? And he like kind of explained it to me, and I was like, bet I'm gonna try that. It gained some traction and now it's a thing. So I love it, man. It's a blast.
Yeah, dude, it's a super cool, unique idea. And I mean, take me back to last week where you were like, while you were doing these picks,
Mm.
in the back of your mind, were you like, all right, this might actually
Yeah,
work out for me?
my only thing that I was worried about was making sure that I got Umar on that
Mm.
first fight because I feel like the other 4 fights that could have gone either way, the odds were all very close, but Umar was a massive favorite. And I was like, if we don't pull Umar this first pick, this parlay is already a wash off the rip. So I was like, as long as we get Umar first fight on the main card, the rest of the four, they're all a coin toss fight, so it could go either way. So
Yeah.
that's the only one that I was worried about. The other ones, I was like, whatever, I don't care where it goes.
Yeah, and boy, did Umar fucking shine on
Yeah,
Saturday, huh? What a
boy's
clean
nasty.
dude. What a clean in the Nurmagomedovs, they usually like known for the wrestling and the
Mhm.
grappling, and this dude did it on the feet that
Yeah, man.
flawlessly.
He looks good, man. He's a threat, man. He's definitely a threat. Definitely someone to watch, rising up the ranks and challenging for the title soon, man. Maybe by the end of the year, who knows?
Yeah, dude. These things happen quick, especially for those lighter divisions. Like
Facts.
he could be in with these top dogs real soon. But anyways,
For
back
sure.
to the Wheel of Fate, man. This is a cool ass idea, bro. And shout out
Appreciate
to
you, man.
MMA Hour for giving you the proper eyes and viewers you deserve, bro.
Facts.
That's a sick
Thanks,
ass
bro.
idea, and glad it worked out. And who
Thanks,
who's the
bro.
lucky person to get that some bread in the comments?
His name's Mike Malone. He is a friend of mine. There was about like 10 people, I think, that commented on it. So it was a 1 in 10 chance anybody could have won it. If anybody's listening and wants to get in on some action, man, come through to my Instagram page and podcast. And all you gotta do is leave a like and a comment, man. If we hit the parlay, you got a chance to win some money. It's that easy.
That easy. You should make them follow too, dude.
Yeah, I mean, most of them do follow me already. Most of them are like people that know me a bit. So if anybody's new, like anybody new that comes through, hit the follow so you don't miss it.
Amen. Amen. Well, enough about you, enough about us. Let's talk
Yeah,
about
man.
Cage Titans that we had the pleasure of watching last weekend,
Yes, sir.
headlined by, New England's favorite,
Mm,
our guy at the moment, Jojo Giannetti, who
yes, sir.
fought a 5 round flawless fight. Tell me about
Mhm.
that. Tell me about the because you got the pleasure of being there. Tell me
I
about
was,
the
I was,
the arena
I
during
was
that
there,
fight.
man. I mean, the arena was packed out from doors open to door closed. It was a packed out show. They sold out very fast. If you heard anybody talking about the fights leading up to it, they were saying like tickets are sold out. Sorry, you're not
Mm.
getting in. It's that type of deal. So the main event, people were sticking around waiting to see JoJo. He is the champ. The people of Cage Titans love him. The people in New England love him. So, everybody had to stick around and see it. And, 50-45 on all the three judges' scorecards, man. Can't really get a much cleaner victory than that when it goes to the judges. So big props to JoJo, man. Hopefully that kid makes the next step because he deserves it.
Yeah, agreed. But back to the fight a little bit before we talk about what's next for him.
Mhm.
While being there, I mean, I unfortunately had COVID, so I had to watch from the couch. But being at home watching it on the screen, it felt like he won every single round.
Mhm.
Being there front row, did it feel that way?
It definitely did, man. It definitely did. He definitely clean sweeped it 50-45. His defense was on point. He was looking
Yeah.
slick. He only got hit with a couple shots here and there, but majority of the time, he was making them miss and then making them pay. So, um, definitely 50-45 clean sweep on my card. If I had a judge's scorecard, that's what I would have turned it in as. So I have nothing bad to say about the decision, man. It was clean.
Yeah, no, I agreed, bro. And especially the way he was able to like control the octagon, stand in the center throughout like every minute on the feet. JoJo had the center against an experienced guy in Saul, and
Facts.
that was kind of what the world wanted of JoJo, right? Like
Mhm.
the whole pullback from the UFC may have been the lack of experience he's been fighting. And to me, man, Saul was like the perfect opponent to like kick you up a notch and throw you into that like realm of the UFC competition,
For
SIBO.
sure.
Uh, and have you been seeing JoJo kind of going back and forth with some of these UFC lightweights trying to get in on London?
Yeah, man, I have, man. Just to go back to Saul for a minute too, man. Like Saul is a very tough fighter to fight against, man. Even JoJo said it himself. He has a style that kind of frustrated JoJo in the past. So he was very excited to kind of go up against Saul and see if he was able to grow against a typical style that gave him some fits in the past. So you can see the growth from JoJo in this fight. He looked like the type of fighter that I'm sure he would have loved to go in there and gotten a finish. But 50-45, you can't be too mad at. And like I said, Saul was a tough fighter, man.
Yeah,
He's very unorthodox. He's very a very big like counter striker. He likes to frustrate people, and Joe was able to kind of handle that. And you know, it wasn't as action packed and as much as like the Jacob Bond fight was, where they were kind of going back and forth and swanging and banging at each other. It was more of a calculated, cool, calm, collected JoJo, and he's able to go in there and get the W. But back to what you were saying about London, man. Yeah, he is trying to get that fight in London. Him and the opponent, I can't remember. I can think it was Chris Duncan, if I
hmm
believe so. Him and Chris Duncan did both agree that the fight sounds like a good idea on Twitter. So if the fighters agree to it, let's send the paperwork over and get JoJo to London, man.
yeah. Let's make it happen. That card's coming up soon, right? March or something?
I believe it's in
February.
March. Yeah, I
Okay,
believe it's in March.
I love it, man. March is fucking packed with fights.
It really is.
Uh, but back to Cage Titans. Shout out JoJo, man. It's clear that everybody in New England is stamping this guy as
Hmm.
is the next one from our side of town, and hopefully he gets the call up. Man, it's well
Facts.
deserved. Uh, but let's talk about some of the other guys that
For sure.
we had the great time watching on Saturday. Who else stood out most?
Oh man, the a lot of the let's see, there's a lot of good fights. Peter Barrett, that liver kick in the co-main was unreal.
Oh,
That I can still hear the slap ringing through the arena, dude. That shit was nasty.
oh yeah.
That one stood out, man. He doubled him over with that liver kick. Just go back and watch the clip if you ain't seen it, because that thing is loud as hell.
So
Um,
gangster. The walk off and all. It was that was a highlight.
Yeah, that shit was crazy, bro. That's starting the year off hot with a knockout like
Mm.
that. So good for Peter Bear, man. That was nasty. And then my guy Andrew Valdina coming through
Ooh, yeah, it's a big one.
his second pro fight of his career. Finishing it in the end of the first round with a submission. He called it. If you saw the clip that he posted when he was on my show, he called the finish. That's exactly what he said he was going to do, and he went out and did it. So props to Valdina. The kid's young and he's up and coming, and his fans pack the
Yeah.
hall out every time. He's got a big fan base that follows him around. So future's bright for that kid, man. He's only 2-0 and he's still young in the game and he's just getting better every fight. So super excited to see him take that next step as well. See what's next for him.
Yeah, dude, man. Valdina's a savage, and that was like a win that was I was impressed about because it wasn't. You see, like with amateur styles, people are just like they just rush into it so fast,
Hmm.
and I kind of got that vibe from Valdina a bit. But this one was so calculated, and he
Hmm.
moved. Every movement he made was so strategic and had purpose, and he just looked so flawless in there.
Yeah,
It was a big win. He caught his dude rear naked choke, was it? It
yeah,
was
yeah,
he took the back, secured the choke, and it was like a buzzer beater. It was like in the final seconds, if I remember that one correctly too. What a win by him. Who else
yeah,
though?
man.
Tell me more.
If we go, I mean, I can't go through the card and not talk about Aaron Hughes, guillotine in the first round. It brings his record to even 3-3. Um, the kid knows how to lock in a guillotine. I'm just gonna say that, he has quite a few guillotine finishes on his record, so good for him. Um, Also, I don't know if you saw the military dude Gerald Muse come
Yeah,
out. He came out and he did his whole crazy walkout with dancing with the military guys that he brought with him, and he was actually in the cool thing about it too is he was one of the guys holding the flags during the national anthem inside the cage in full uniform,
oh, shit.
and then went back, changed, got ready for the fight, and then came out and fought, did his whole crazy walkout,
Yeah,
and
threw
then
on the costume.
wins by Twister in the first round, bro. Like you don't see Twisters every fight card, man. So when you get to see one, it's quite a sight to see. So that kid was winning the whole night, bro. With everything from the
Yeah,
beginning to the end, man. He caught a W that night for sure.
yeah. He went viral like 4 times that
Yeah,
night. And
they put him on ESPN MMA pages too, bro.
dude,
Like it's crazy, man. Good for him. He
yeah,
deserved it. That shit was crazy.
yeah, the Twister is no joke. That's a submission that like every time you see it executed, it's like, what the fuck? Like
Yeah,
how?
it's nuts, bro. It's
You
nuts.
know?
We were losing the cage side. We were like, "Yo, is that a twister?" And dude, it was nuts. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Oh
You don't
man.
see that shit very often. There's a dude. This whole card was stacked. Like when you talk about like way to bring up, way to ring in 2023, man. Like this card, like even going to the Amis, like Tyler Smythe. He fought Nate Russell. Nate Russell was
Mm,
the flyweight champion at one point. He was beating everybody, so he kind of like gave up the belt to kind of let these young guys come up and get some work for the title. And then Smythe beat Joe Poirier, and then Nate Russell comes back to try and get his belt back, and Smythe beats him. So Smythe's kind of looking like the Ami flyweight king of New England with all his
yeah.
gold, man. He's decked out right now, so good for him. I heard he's going pro too, which is big on him. So congrats on that, Smythe. But yeah, man, he's a good kid. I'm excited for him.
Yeah, congrats, man. That's sweet. Didn't he isn't he the one with the he has like a few different promotions amateur title, right?
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
NEF's title, I know, and he obviously has the Cage Titans title. I think he might have there might be another one in there too. I just don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, the kid's decked out in gold right now, man, and no better way to walk into your pro career with a lot of Ami belts.
Amen. Amen. Well, the hype is high, seems like,
Thanks.
huh?
Thanks, man.
Oh my.
Speaking of hype, bro, did you see the Tyler Menard fight too?
Of course, man. Of course I seen that fight. I've been waiting for him. I be seeing him in clips all the time, just doing like insane shit, snapping baseball bats, putting people in like reverse guillotine, just doing crazy shit. And I was so
Yeah.
excited for this one.
Me too, man. It was everybody from Lausanne's MMA that I talked to, they always bring up Tyler Menard as we got to get this guy in the cage. We got to get him in the cage. We got to get him a fight. So like anybody that I've talked to has been bringing his name up. So the fact that they got him and they get his first MMA fight under his belt and the kid looked like an absolute stud. So the hype was definitely real around him. He definitely lived up to it. The thing that's funny though is everybody says his jujitsu is like the best part of his game, and I was walking around talking to all the Lausanne's guys around me in the crowd, and I was like, "Yo, how's Tyler gonna win? How's he gonna win? I want give me a prediction." And like they were all saying sub, rear naked choke, leg lock, blah blah blah. Dude comes out here and wins by TKO in the first round. I don't think anybody was expecting him to finish it that way. So it was cool, man. It was cool to see that, and he had a big fucking crowd with him too.
Yeah.
His whole posse was in the crowd going nuts too, bro. So it was cool as shit to see. I loved it.
Yeah, and he got the hot dog too at the end,
Yeah,
right?
he got the
Somebody
glizzy. Yep.
somebody threw a perfect alley oop right up there
Yeah.
when he was sitting on the cage. And I was like,
Yeah.
Did somebody just throw a beer at him?" And
I know. I was confused too, and I saw him take it out the tinfoil, and I was like, "This motherfucker."
yeah, that's something like you have to orchestrate, right? You got to tell a buddy like, "Hey, get a hot dog. As soon as this fight's over, I'm gonna be on top of that cage. Just whip it at me."
Hell yeah,
You know,
dude. I mean,
such a
it was
savage.
hilarious, bro. It was hilarious. So it worked out for him.
What a savage, man. What a debut. I'm excited for what's next for him for
For
sure.
sure,
The
for sure.
sky's the future. Anybody else? It seems like a few more fights here.
Yeah, we got a few, man. I gotta,
Yeah.
I can't. talk about this fight card without talking about the spinning back fist
Yeah.
KO by Amanda Ferreira. Dude, she was nasty. I had her on my show before the fight. I got to, chop it up with her after the fight. Um, Super cool girl, man. Works hard. She's a badass. Clearly, that spinning back fist was clean. I know there was a little bit of controversy. People were saying it might have hit the elbow, and you can't use elbows in AMEs, so there's a little bit of
Mm.
controversy there. But for the most part, it's ruled as a spinning back fist TKO victory, and I don't see any problems with the stoppage. I mean, people gotta understand that in AMEs, they're not gonna let these fights go as long as they would in the pros. They're usually pretty quick to stop it in amateur action too, so that's something to keep in mind as well. So I'm not mad about the stoppage at all. The spinning back fist was clean as hell, dropped her.
Mhm.
Rocked her hard, and man, it's a highlight. That's probably one of the biggest highlights off this whole card was that spinning back fist. You can see that clip everywhere too. It's nuts. It's going crazy.
Yeah, that's another viral moment from
Mhm.
Cage Titans 57 for sure. Shout out Amanda, dude. I mean, you've had her on your show. Did you expect a big outing from her coming into this?
Yeah, I mean, the hype that I heard around her was her kicks. Apparently her kicks are crazy. I mean, she went in there for versus a girl who was clearly, looking to get it to the ground. Whole first round. Amanda slipped on a high kick in the beginning of the round and then spent the rest of the round on her back. So it was a tough first round for her. Comes out in the second round and lands that spinning back fist to get the W. Shout out to Lindsay Kelly too. She has a lot of potential. She's a good ass fighter as well. She just got caught with a spinning back with a clean spinning back fist, and that's how it ended. But talking to Amanda, man, yeah, she has history as a boxer. She did a lot of work as a boxer before she started MMA. So her hands and her kicks are definitely her ways to victory for
Mhm.
sure.
Sounds like a mini Holly Holm.
Hey man, she got some hands. She's a pretty big girl too, man. She's like 5'8", 5'9", so
Mm,
she's a little taller for the division. So I mean, she's gonna be a problem for any of these regional girls trying to come up for sure.
yeah. Listen, I'm excited for the next show. Hopefully Cage Titans has her out there, man. If she's performing like this, I
Mm.
mean, the excitement can only grow.
For sure, man, for sure. I'm sure they're already blowing her lineup trying to get her back for March. So we'll see if she makes the move. That'd
Yeah,
be cool if she does.
let's make that happen, Amanda.
Thanks.
All right, what else? Tell me more.
Let's see. Oh, easy one right here. Early fight of the year candidate.
Mm,
Santi Munoz. No, what was it? Yeah, Santi Munoz versus Drew Arpin. Split decision. Drew got, clocked in the first round, got beat up pretty bad. You could tell by his face. Most of that damage came from the first round. But the kid showed grit, man. He fucking hung in there and stayed all 3 rounds with the dude and went to a split decision. It was a loss. One judge saw it the other way. It is one of those fights that, depends who you ask who won, but I gave the decision to Munoz as well. Crazy, crazy fight, man. It was action packed, just nonstop throwing. So I think Santi kind of blew his wad in the first round because I think he saw that he had him hurt and he was trying to get him out of there. And then, big ups to Drew for being able to stick in there, man. Not a lot of dudes can stand that type of punishment. And I think it was both their amateur debuts too. I think they were both
wow.
0-0. So I mean, whoever else is gonna go in there and fight Drew Arpin's gonna look back on this fight and be like, all right, we can't put this kid away too easy because he stuck in there and almost got it out of decision victory, man. So good for him. He's a Lozon guy too, so you already know he's well rounded and he's good at what he does. So um, it was cool, man. It was awesome. It was a fucking great fight.
Sweet. Yeah, I missed that one, unfortunately. I missed a lot of these earlier card
Mm-hmm.
just because timing didn't work out for me. But
For
I'll
sure.
definitely keep an eye out moving forward. Drew Arpin and Sandy Munoz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it was a good one. It was a good one. It's crazy, man. The whole, like I said, the whole night we started off the night with the Muay Thai bout is the only Muay Thai bout of the card. Every other fight was a MMA bout. Avery Andrews, honestly, selfishly, Avery Andrews is one of my favorite Cage Titans performers. I've only seen him fight. I think he's only fought Muay Thai, but every time I see that Avery Andrews is fighting a Muay Thai bout, I make sure that I get there on time so I can see him throw. The kid's super talented and super young, so. He never disappoints in the Muay Thai bouts for sure. Kid's
Wow.
nasty.
What stands out most about him?
He's just quick twitch, man. His kicks are
Mm,
nice. He's a tough kid. He'll go in there and throw down with anybody. You can tell that he has that grit about him, where he's not afraid to walk at you and throw punches. And he was working some nice clinch elbows too in this last one, which looked like it was something new to his game. I don't know if that's maybe a rule change for MMA Muay Thai where they're allowed to use the elbows now, so maybe that's why I'm seeing it in this one. But the kid, I don't know, man. The kid just he's so young. I think he's like early 20s, 22
Mhm.
maybe. So he's got so much potential. I don't know what his plans are as far as going to MMA or whatever, but if he just sticks around and fights Muay Thai, I'm happy with it because he's exciting as hell to watch.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm definitely gonna tune in next time I see him fight. What size is he too? What weight class? Do you
Oh,
know?
that I'm not sure of. Doesn't say on the card, to be
Yeah, it
honest. I can't
doesn't.
see, but he does kind of, I mean, Muay Thai, man, it's just probably whatever the agreed upon weight was at the time. Not
Right.
100% sure, to be honest with you.
If you had a guess, like flyweight,
Oh,
bantam.
maybe like 135,
Okay.
145,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
135 if I had to guess. Rough
Sweet.
guess.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. All right. That's good to know moving forward. I love Muay Thai.
Yeah, shit's
But
fun, man.
yeah, when I go to a Cage Titans event, I'm just so looking forward to MMA and just
Mhm.
like the grit and grind. Not saying that Muay Thai isn't, but I don't know. MMA just strikes a different nerve with me. But I'll
I hear
definitely
you
be
for sure.
looking out for Mr. Avery Andrews. Huge shout out to Cage Titans, everybody on the team, and putting on a great show. Unfortunately, like I said, I was not able to be there, but bro, I would not miss the
Mhm.
next one
Yeah, man. March 18th,
for
St. Patty's Day
anything.
weekend.
I'm out there. And I
Yes,
hope
sir.
everybody listening, if you can't make it out there, you buy the pay-per-view, you support these athletes, you support the show. Hopefully we can get Cage Titans to Boston
Yeah. That
one
would
day.
That would be crazy, man. That would be crazy. We'll see. We'll see what happens, man. They're packing out the Memorial Hall, so we'll see if, that's something that happens in the future. But right now, I know Memorial Hall is the home.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the arena, so but right now, man, we'll see what happens in the
Yeah, that
future.
hall is so legendary. I don't see them ever wanting to leave, right?
I don't know, man. It is a perfect venue. I love it. I love going
Yeah.
there for the fights, man. Even when I walk up to the mezzanine on the second floor, even the top floor on the third floor, man, it's right on top of the action. There's not a bad seat in the house. So as long as you're in there, get your tickets early because it sold out like crazy last time. If you want to be there for St. Patty's Day weekend, man, make sure you get online, hit up your favorite fighter, do what you gotta do to get tickets because it's a blast.
Yeah. And I co-signed that. It for sure is a blast. You said the next one was March 18th?
Yeah, March 18th, Saturday, March 18th. Yeah,
Hmm.
day after St. Patty's Day.
They haven't announced any of the main events or any of the
No, I don't think they've announced any fights yet.
all right.
I know Joe Poirier is making his pro debut on the card, but that's about all I know. So
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
yeah, yeah. He was a stud in the AMI ranks, man, and now he's making that bump up to pro.
Yeah.
He's nasty, so I'm
Yeah.
looking
He's
forward to
been
see
on
his
your
pro.
show before, right?
He has. I had him on like before the holidays, maybe like November-ish. He was on my show. I know he hurt his hand, so he was kind of in limbo, waiting for his hand to heal. He got the all clear to go, and now he's signed on for March to make his pro debut. So I'm excited for him.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I'm excited for this whole Cage Titans 58 card that takes place March 18th, of course,
Yes,
Plymouth,
sir.
Massachusetts, the Plymouth Memorial Hall. Be there, be squared.
Damn
Uh
right.
I kind of want to talk transitioning away from Cage Titans.
Hmm.
Uh a lot of news. 2023 has been fireworks.
Crazy, man. The world of MMA, well, the UFC specifically, um, start of 2023 has been crazy. So yeah, so
Fireworks. I
a
mean,
lot.
dude, from the first day, the whole Dana incident with his wife, and we don't even got to talk about that because
Right.
we've had enough the past few weeks with that, and then
Hmm.
it almost felt like they went silent for a few days, and then
Hmm.
till the event last Saturday where it was just like boom, 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 just like so much shit just thrown at us.
Oh yeah, exactly. It was nuts, dude. It was
Starting
nuts.
with the T-Mobile releasing
Yeah.
potentially maybe the biggest fight of 2023.
Yeah.
I mean, John Jones versus Cyril Gain is a fucking bro. That fight is so insane on so many levels.
Nuts.
It's there's so many different things. But when you seen that, what were your initial thoughts?
I thought I initially thought it was fake,
Yeah,
first of all.
same.
I
Yeah,
go, somebody on Twitter is trying to pull one over on everybody by photoshopping the T-Mobile Arena with the John Jones versus Cyril Gahn thing because, earlier in the week, Cyril Gahn called out John Jones, and I thought maybe, someone ran with that storyline and kind of photoshopped the T-Mobile Arena and was blasting it on social media. So at first I was a little hesitant to believe it. I was like, I don't know, this looks a little fishy. But then when I found out that it's actually legit and somebody did accidentally leak it on the T-Mobile screens, bro, I was like, man, that guy just lost his job.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah,
You know Dana how he like goes off on people. So
yeah.
the whole T-Mobile crew definitely heard it. Um, but yeah, dude. So we hear it's for an undisputed heavyweight title fight too.
Hmm.
This isn't no interim. The world heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou is gone.
Mm. I
Just
know, man. It's tough.
just gone just like that. And
I
it's
think that
something that
was that was the initial thought once you heard the word undisputed. You're like, wait a second, what's Ngannou doing? And then
right.
the news comes out, and you're like, damn, man,
Yeah.
hate to see him go.
Hate to see him go. But I mean, it was kind of, I don't know, it felt like a ticking time bomb. Like ever since the Gon fight and everything that we heard leading up to that fight, it almost was like inevitable. We knew it was his he knew he like remember whenever Tyson fought and he just jumped in the ring randomly, like
Hmm.
that doesn't just happen, right?
Right,
There's something bigger there
right.
that they're trying to create. And now Ngannou has the chance, bro. Could you imagine him fighting Tyson Fury?
It would be crazy, man. I mean, the heavyweight boxing pool is kind of, drying up as it is. These guys have a hard time signing contracts and fighting each other, so it's very rare that we're going to see like a Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, or Joshua Wilder, or you know, God forbid we have to see another Wilder Fury 3 because I don't want to see that either.
Be the
Um,
fourth.
Before, yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I mean, Ngannou does throw an interesting wrinkle into the dude. Everybody knows who the dude is. He can sell. Um, the thing is with him, man, I think the reason why he wanted out of the UFC, well, it's not that he necessarily wanted out. I think he wanted to stay in the UFC, but he wanted the right contract to stay. I mean, he didn't like the fact that he was being called an independent contractor, but wasn't able to go out and do other things outside the UFC. So,
Mhm.
I'm sure he did mention on Ariel Helwani's podcast today that, he had a few things that he was asking for when it came to the contract negotiation with the UFC. And it wasn't even necessarily the money that he was asking for. It was, he wanted to be able to do other things. He wanted to be able to get his own sponsorship opportunities. He wanted health care and health
Yeah.
insurance, not only for him, but he was going to lobbying for the entire UFC. He wanted that. And then he wanted um, somebody to be in the meeting rooms with the board representing the fighters. You know what I mean? So that's another thing that he was going out asking for not for himself, but for these other guys. And that wasn't something the UFC was willing to do. So he, decided to take his walking papers and go test the market. And now he's free to do whatever he wants. It's only been a few days. So who knows what kind of deals he's cooking up behind the scenes. But whatever he decides to do, man, it's gonna make some waves and people are gonna be ready for it.
Yeah, dude. Yes, it will. And what a guy Francis Ngannou is, right? I mean, everybody at this top level, aside from a very, very small number of people, always just want some more zeros at the end of
Hmm.
their check. They're not even worried about the next guy or the future guys. Like they're
For
so
sure.
worried about themselves. And Ngannou to ask for all those things in his own negotiation process and being able to or being willing to bite the bullet and say, all right, if you guys aren't giving everybody what they deserve, I'm out of here. I'll
Hmm.
be the example. It's
Right.
that's a stand-up guy, man.
It is,
Francis,
man. Coming from your heavyweight champion of the world, the baddest man on the planet, for him to be able to do something like that, I think it's gonna make some noise and it might cause some ripple effects throughout the UFC too. So we'll kind of see what happens. We'll see if anybody else follows suit later on once their contracts are up, when they got to go back for renegotiation. So we'll kind of see how that happens, man. But I'm interested to see kind of what kind of mark this leaves now. Makes it
yeah,
interesting.
for sure. He's definitely starting a conversation that we're not really having, right?
Hmm.
And shout out for him for doing so. But in a fantasy Chris world,
Hmm.
what happens next with Francis Ngannou?
I mean, we can't put anything UFC related on the table
Right.
because I would love to see him versus John Jones. That'd probably
Yeah,
be top of my list, but that
that's
door's
gone.
closed.
Yeah.
Um, for me, I think he gets pieced up by Fury pretty good. But if you get him in there versus like Deontay Wilder, I think not that I think that Francis wins, but I think that he has a better shot to beat Wilder than he does versus Fury. And you're talking about two of the biggest hitters in the entire world just
Yeah.
going at it, man. That would be probably be my number one wish list for Ngannou's next move. So
Oof. Oof. That'd
can
be
you
a fun.
imagine?
Oof. Oof. Especially like for Wilder, where he stands at this present moment, where like what's even next for you?
Hmm.
This is crazy. This blows so many trumpets. This makes all the sense in the world. But inevitably, like if this does happen for Wilder, if he wins, what does he get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much. I think that goes for anybody in the in the boxing heavyweight world. You don't really get much by beating
Yeah,
Francis Ngannou. Only thing you're really getting is, hopefully a good payday and a pay-per-view that sells well. Um, I think that's really all you get. You don't get much credibility for in the boxing community for beating a 0-0 professional boxer. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So as much of a big name that Ngannou is, and as much people that will buy the pay-per-view, and I'm sure they'll make some good coin off it, and do the press tour, and do all the bells and whistles for it, like the boxing promoters like to do. Um, After that, when the dust settles, it just kind of goes down as a payday and not really getting you any closer to your heavyweight boxing career dreams and goals. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah, yeah. But what if Ngannou's goal one day is to perhaps perform for a world title in boxing?
Hmm.
What if that's like, he says
Yeah.
boxing has always been his dream. So what if it's like a thing that's on his list that's like, I gotta do this, you
For
know?
sure. I'm sure that he would love to be heavyweight boxing champion of the world and then walk around with his UFC belt and his,
Dude,
WBC or whatever heavyweight championship belt that he
fucking
claims. Um, but it's tough. I mean, if he goes in there and um smokes one of these champions and takes the belt, I mean, then he's got to defend it after that. You know what I mean? So then he's kind of just it depends on what he wants to do. I feel like if he wants to do a long-term boxing thing, then that's great for him. If he wants to kind of dabble back and forth, that's something he's got to work out the logistics of. Especially with boxing promoters, then they're stingy. They don't want to. They don't like guys coming in and taking their money and going. You know what I mean? They're kind of stingy like that.
Yeah, yeah. You know how boxing is, bro. It's all about the biggest payday and
Hmm.
which who's giving them the most bread. And it's the probably more corrupt than UFC. Although UFC has its own issues, it's probably
Yeah,
levels above it.
the boxing world's tough, man. I love boxing was my first love when it comes to like combat sports. My
Mm,
dad got me into it growing up. He's a big 80s, 80s boxing fan and got me
okay.
got me into all that stuff. So I grew up watching all that and following along with all these new age fighters that aren't fighting each other and just all the nonsense that comes with
Yeah.
boxing promoters. So, I know the deal and unfortunately the UFC is kind of going in that path as well, which sucks, but that's combat sports for you. And once promoters get involved, things start getting messy and it starts turning into politics, man.
Yeah, real talk, bro. Perfectly said. Politics with like a worse twist because like all the fans are held captive,
Facts, for
which
sure.
fucking sucks. But I mean, yeah, man, crazy stuff that's been going on with the heavyweights.
Hmm.
Uh, we also got some news that Gaethje's fighting Fiziev,
Yeah, Gaethje
Rafael,
versus Rafael Fiziev. Yeah,
which is
however you say his last name.
a fucking banger, bro.
Great fight, man. That's a fight for
Oof.
Fiziev, man. If he wins that one, it kind of puts him over, puts him into like the title picture. Take down a guy like Gaethje, you're automatically top three. You know what I mean? So
Right, dude.
big
Especially
big for him.
Yeah, especially in the past year or so with this conversation being Gaethje's only fighting either Poirier, Chandler, or
Hmm.
Oliveira, and then it's just a circle with these same four guys. Now we're getting some new blood in that
Yeah,
rotation. It's fun.
you got to have it, man. You got to get these new guys in there. And unfortunately, one of those OGs has to lose in order for these new guys to kind of take their spot up there in that top five. So this is Fiziev's chance, go in there and take Gaethje's spot.
Is that a early prediction? Are you taking Fiziev?
I don't know, man. Talk to me come fight week, man, because I'm the type of guy I flip flop back and forth with fights for a
Dude,
lot. So
how could you not? Especially like when you're watching the media and the fight week and the lead up and the shit. Like
mhm,
there's so much influence. It's like
for
you
sure.
shouldn't have the same opinion unless you're just a cold stone
Yeah, I'm
rock.
pretty open-minded when it comes to shit too, bro. So, I kind of, take it all in. And then once fight week comes around, that's kind of where I put my stake in the ground and kind of figure out who I think actually think's gonna win.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fight week, before I
Yes, sir.
let you go,
Yeah, let's get it.
let me get some picks for this weekend, man.
All
We
right.
have some two big title fights.
Yeah.
We're getting the quadrilogy,
Hmm.
Brandon Figueiredo against Brandon Moreno.
Hmm.
Who takes
Yes, sir.
home the flyweight belt?
I gotta go with Moreno, man. I got
Mm,
to. I think that he's gotten in the three fights that he's had versus Figueiredo. I think he's gotten the better of him overall in those three fights. Um, well, I'm interested to see kind of how Moreno looks having to change camps after the whole James Krause debacle.
Yeah.
So Moreno's forced to, change camps and do that. But I think he's good enough to where it's not going to matter. He's fought Figgy 3 times. There's not really much mystery there anymore for these guys when it comes to fighting each other. So, like I said, I think Moreno got the best of him in the first 3 fights overall. So I have to go with Moreno
Mm,
for this one as well. And hopefully this one ends fairly with no controversy,
right.
and we can put a bow on this, 4 fight thing and, move on to the next. Because if this thing ends in controversy again and we need to get a fifth one, it's going to be
No
crazy.
chance. No chance that
Crazy.
happens.
Okay. Hey
It's
man, never say never. The UFC is a wild place.
it's 1-1-1, right? At this point, as long as it's not a draw, I'll take anything else.
Right.
I'll take anything else.
I hear
And
you.
it's interesting you take Moreno in Brazil. Do you think that
Yeah.
adds like a wrinkle to this?
I mean, it definitely does. Like fighting in your hometown does kind of, benefit you a bit. Um, but I just think Moreno's a dog, man. The guy's ice
Yeah.
cold. I don't think he really has any fear in his heart for anybody when it comes to, fighting against anybody in his weight class or in anybody's backyard. I really don't think it matters to him. Yeah, so I'm rolling with Moreno. Like I said, that
I
was
love it.
one. I've been pretty confident on that one for a minute. I'm gonna roll with my guy for sure.
I love it. Well, hopefully the Wheel of Fortune gives you Moreno.
Hey
And
man, we'll see. We're definitely running it back Saturday morning.
let's
So
fucking do it, man. Let's fucking do it. And last thing on Moreno I want to say is he has like just his flip from like pre-fight to like fight
hmm
moment. Just like the different energy he brings and you see is so it's like a different person, bro. It's his alter ego, and it's so fucking fun to see that switch. And
hmm
like when he gets serious and he's like making his walk and he's angry and you see
Yeah,
it and he's going. I fucking love it, man. I
yeah.
fucking love it. I can't wait for that one. But then in the main event, the
hmm
light heavyweight strap is on the line. And we don't have a light heavyweight champ at the present moment. So this
Yeah,
makes this fight a lot more interesting.
yeah.
Glover Teixeira's fighting. Uh wow, I drew a
It's
blank.
Jamal Hill.
Jamal Hill, my
Yeah,
guy from Michigan. Who you got?
yeah, bro. The UFC's light heavyweight division's literally in shambles right now. Like
We were just talking about the heavyweights. It's like same thing with
year
those guys.
Yuri blows his shoulder out, gives the belt up. Ankalov fights versus Jan Blachowicz. No winner there, no champion there. So then we get a whole new light heavyweight title fight. Like one of those two guys doesn't even get to fight again for the belt. We get a whole new matchup for this light heavyweight bout. Glover Teixeira and Jamal Hill. It's crazy how the UFC just rolls these title fights over. It's insane. But Glover's like the old dog, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's old, he's in his early 40s now, and he's still kind of trucking along and fighting better than maybe he has his whole career. The guy's a savage. And you got the young blood with Jamal Hill. You mentioned that coming out of Michigan. Knockout power can sleep anybody. You saw the Johnny Walker knockout last year, it was insane.
Dude, yeah.
So I think we know where the strengths are. Jamal's going to want to stand and bang. Glover's probably going to want to grapple, maybe get to the ground, use his jits and ground and pound. It's just going to come down to whoever implements their game plan the best. But I'm going to have to go with the young dog here, man, and go with
Mm,
Jamal Hill. I've seen Glover's chin get testy. He has gotten rocked. He's gotten caught by some punches. I think Jamal's young and hungry and has the power to, clip Glover and put him away.
ooh, I love it, man. I
Yeah.
fucking love it. How crazy would it be if I mean if Hill knocks him out in Brazil? What's the fans' reactions at that point?
It'd be crazy, man. It'd be insane. I think Glover's the guy though. He's been living in the States for a long time. He
Right.
trains out in Connecticut and has his thing going on there. So I don't know if I mean, I can't speak for the Brazilian fan base, but I don't know if they're as invested in Glover as they are for guys like, Figueiredo and like Anderson Silva and,
Mm,
guys like that are, still kind of doing their thing in Brazil. So I'll be interested to see, man. I'm sure Brazil is going to show out for Glover. He is Brazilian, and that is their guy. So we'll see. I think it's gonna if Glover gets clocked and gets put out, man, like the crowd's gonna go crazy either way.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, no matter what, As long as we don't get another fucking draw, it's
bro.
gonna be a skeptical, dude.
You're telling me, man. You're telling me we can't take any more controversy in these title fights. I hate when, divisions are in limbo when there's
Yeah,
controversy. Like, oh, it's the worst.
yeah, yeah. And shout out Yuri for actually vacating and not like, I'm taking this strap with me. You guys
Mhm.
create an interim and complicate things 10 times more.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was a baller move that he made there, man. He knows once he's healthy, he's getting first crack back at it. So
yeah. Have you came across his Insta or his Twitter pages at all?
no, I haven't.
Yuri Prohashka, dude.
Why is he
Just
crazy on
one
there?
of the fucking funniest follows. Cause he's not even posting memes and shit. He's just like in a jungle with his fist, like just
Yeah.
standing there. Oh man, I love it. It just I don't follow him, but you know how Twitter does those like
Oh
for
yeah, yeah.
you or things you may like. I
Right.
always give it a like, dude. I love
Hell yeah,
seeing Yuri on my shit, but
for sure. The guy's a
man,
character.
UFC is gonna be lit this weekend. Chris, I thank you for your time, bro. I appreciate you joining me for our Cage Titans recap. This is a tradition, bro. Let's keep this going.
Hey man, anytime, man. I'm always down to come chop it up with you, bro. I'm a big fan of what you guys do over there. I know you guys do a lot of boxing and MMA stuff. I fuck with that. So anytime you guys wanna, chop it up, man, I'm down.
Appreciate it, brother. Let's do boxing sometime. We've done MMA
Yeah,
every single time. Let's do boxing next time.
for sure, for sure. My boxing game's a little rusty, but I'll brush up on it just for you guys.
My man. All right, Chris. Have a good one, bro. Thank you
Yes,
for your
sir. You
time.
you too, my man.